Oh, here's the box. Got it.
All right. Let this set it up.
Oh, here's the box.
All right. All right, everyone. Hello, I am a lady named Pearl, and welcome to another edition of Model Talk Tuesdays. I have an amazing model with us today. Nay, welcome to Model Talk Tuesdays.
Hey guys, how are y'all? Sorry, my voice is going away.
Oh, no. Well, thank you for being here with us. So look, you all, Nay has me on vacation. This is the first time that you've seen this background on Model Talk Tuesdays, but I was inspired when she came on and I saw these palm trees. So Nay, you actually helped the school out last year during the pandemic because we had partnered with a entity from your hometown. So
yes,
when I do these interviews, I like to start with, where the person is from and so forth. So why don't you tell us about your background, where you're from, your culture?
Yes. Okay. So I am originally from Springfield, Ohio. I was born there. I moved away when I was, I want to say 12. So I kind of grew up in Atlanta, but that's where I'm from. Okay. So yeah, when I was in the 5th grade, I kind of moved here. It was like a sudden movement. At first I didn't like it. And then maybe like after the first year, I was like, wow, I couldn't see myself living there for a long time.
Okay, got you. Okay, got you. And then I found out that John Legend is from Springfield.
Yes, my mom went to high school with him.
You did?
Yes.
But wait. He was in high school here in Atlanta?
No, I said my mom went to high school with him.
Oh, your mom. Okay, I got
you. Oh, yeah, because he kind of old.
No, he's not old. He's not old, but yeah, okay. So your mom went to high school with him. Okay. All right, so tell us, when did fashion, so what were your interests when you were young? And was it fashion? What were some of the things that interest you as a young person in elementary school, middle school, high school?
Okay, I've always been a really creative person. So I kind of went through like different phases. I can't even talk. When I first started doing like really creative things, it was writing. I love to write poetry. I kind of stopped now, but I did when I want to say probably when I was like 12 years old, I started seeing America's Next Top Model and I fell in love with it. And it was like everything from the tie overs were my favorite. So I would always sit in front of the TV and be like, my sister, her name is Kamara. I'd be like, Kamara, let me give you a tie over or like a nay over. Let me do your makeup and let me give you that look, a new look or, whatever. So, and then just all the different creative competitions they did and all the gems that America's Next Top Model gives you, especially now, like actually being in the industry and thinking back on some of those episodes, I'm like, wow, those were really, even though it's really dramatized, there are a lot of tips that you can take from the shows when it comes to posing angles and just learning different photographers and like notable fashion designers and just being on top of that. Because just like any other profession, modeling, you need to study it. You need to know. You don't want to go somewhere and maybe just not know how to pronounce the designer's name. And I'm not going to say I know how to pronounce every designer, but like, you want to know how to pronounce stuff. You want to be up to par on what's going on. So makeup is another thing that really interests me. I love doing makeup and just seeing natural beauty kind of transform.
Okay. Now, let me go back to that first point because you was giving the girls some nuggets. And when I refer to the girls, I'm talking to you all students that are watching. You had mentioned knowing your designer, well, first of all, America's Next Top Model and all the amazing tips that we got from that, right? And that's what made you fall in love with the modeling industry. And then there was something else that you had mentioned about, when you go and America's Next Top Model taught you how to, the designers and the photographers. So one gem that Nate just gave us is that when you're even going on a casting call, I would recommend whichever designer that you're walking for to do some research on them before you go into that casting call. So you know who you're in the room with, you know who you're walking for, you know their style, their brand, and so forth. Yes. Okay, so then you fell in love with makeup as well, and you said to transition the natural face. Help me understand that. So talk a little about that.
When I do makeup, I like to, maybe transition may not have been the right word, maybe enhance natural beauty. I love because Atlanta has an aesthetic and there's nothing wrong with it, but I can always look at a makeup look and say, yeah, the makeup artist is from Atlanta, from like the boldness or like maybe like the cakiness of the makeup.
I don't mean to shake my head, but I be thinking it's too much.
Look, the glitter, yes. And I love to just take somebody's natural face and just follow their features lightly so you can see exactly like what you look like, just like, I don't want to say more polished, more glammed up, because just because you don't have makeup on doesn't mean you're not polished, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And would you say makeup is an important trade that a model should learn?
Definitely. I definitely think that is something that every model should know. When it comes, especially Black models, in my opinion, because sometimes people just don't know how to match our skin tone. Now, since I am into makeup, you know that the black skin has different undertones all over. A lot of the times our face is not just one color. So when you're going and you're shopping for colors, you may just be looking for a color that's close enough to your skin tone so that you can make it work. And there are makeups that are, we're getting there. Colors is getting better, but you want to always know, like, okay, this don't look right, I can fix it. Or for me, my eyebrows, that's something that like people always mess up. Like I have thick eyebrows and for some reason people feel like they still need to fill them in. Like just brush them up, gel them up, put a little line and fill in the ends and that's it. Like that's all you need to do. So I do think that's super important to know how to do your makeup, or at least be knowledgeable about some things: a foundation, a concealer, your eyebrow pencil, and mascara, the basic look, and blush. Blush is important. I don't think people know. Like that's like my favorite makeup. It's not for old people. Blush can change your life. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's important because as a model, you do different events. You're going out and being a personality. So it's a plus to be able to do that, opposed to having to call a makeup artist every time you're doing a major, appearance. You have to do your makeup. So when did you get into the industry? I know that I read that 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So how did you transition from being in front of the screen and getting these tips from America's Next Top Model to actually, let's say, being on the road to being America's Next Top Model?
Yes, I cannot wait. Okay, so I forgot to mention, like growing up too, my aunt was a photographer as well as a hairstylist. And so she did a bunch of that stuff. And she had this magazine called Sonia 21. And this had to be about when I was in the 6th grade, going into the 6th grade. She used to go to New York Fashion Week as a publicist, and she would take pictures of the models. And also for her magazine, she would get models. She actually had one of the finalists. I don't know if the girl made it onto the show, but she was a finalist going onto the show, actually be like one of her covers. And I was able to help behind the scenes, dress the model, go to the thrift store, help put the look together, look at the mood board. And so like when I look back now, like my life is really just full circle. So going back to your question on how I got into modeling, I dropped out of college probably the first year. I went to college for a year and I realized that this is just a big party bill. Like I'm just here turning up. I like doing makeup. I love being in front of the camera. I was a mass comm major. So I was like, anything that I like to do, I don't necessarily have to be here, but I had to try to do it to see if I liked it, because Instagram and social media, you just need to learn how to market yourself. And so I dropped out and came back home. So I was home for a while and I was just hanging out with my friends and they were still in college. One of my friends had actually just graduated from cosmetology school and my other friend had dropped out too, but she was an artist. And so in the midst of that, I felt really lost. I felt like I was just everybody's minion, because I'm the person, like, I'm always wanting help. I always have a million ideas. So it's like, I'm giving everybody ideas and I'm doing all of this, but I don't know what I want to do for myself. And so one day I just remember us just sitting there talking. They're like, Meg, you're very photogenic. Just start taking pictures. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, cool. So then I started doing like the Instagram thing, and I would take pictures on Instagram and do stuff like that. And people are like, wow, you should start modeling. And I was like, really? I think I should start modeling? Like, okay. And still now, like, I'm still trying to build that confidence. I was overweight like my whole life. So that was something that I struggled with, and just really being like the only chocolate girl in the family. Everybody else is brown skin. So I dealt with like those type of issues. Not that my family like made me feel different. It's just like when you look different as a child, like that could be kind of hard. So yeah, doing all that, I really just never thought that I could be a model, but I wanted to be an actress. And so, yeah, doing that. And I finally was like, okay, cool. So long story short, one of my friends had a photo shoot and I went with her. And the day before, I had like this emotional breakdown. I cut off all my hair and I was like, I just don't know what to do. Child, this is getting crazy out here. I don't know. And I don't want to work at Kroger for the rest of my life. I'm stressed. So the girl showed me Ursula Wiedmann on her. She told me to follow them. She said she does test shoots for them, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay. So I still wait. Maybe like 6 months later, I see a casting on my phone and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go, whatever. So I go, and the night before I get dreadlocks put in my hair. Like, I wanted to stand out so bad. So I got my hair done. I had like big locks, like makeup on. I had like blue in the corner. I went in with like a tan jacket on, leopard print, like, and then tan shoes. I walked in, everybody got on black and white. And I was like, child, I don't think I'm supposed to have this on. And so my name is Nayana, and I knew they were going to mess it up. I mean, everybody has a hard time pronouncing my name. And when you see it written down on paper, it's kind of hard to say. So that's like my entrance to being like, hey, here's my personality. So they call my name. I'm like, yeah, my name is Nayana, blah, blah, blah. And they were like just shocked by my personality. I feel like it was just like a lot. And then on top of the outfit, like it was just like, I grabbed attention. And they ended up asking me like, what do you look like without your hair or without the locks in? And I showed them pictures, and she was just like, come back. And then the next time I came, I got offered a contract. So it was like, everything kind of just went full circle for me. Like, I didn't have to go around to a bunch of different agencies and do a bunch of stuff. But I will say that one thing that I did do within this journey is I did pray, and I asked God. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I am here on this earth to do, but whatever it is, I just want it to be of you. And after I said that prayer, like everything just started to fall in line. And I won't say that every step of the way was perfect, but the journey is definitely beautiful, and like learning myself and like discovering more of who I am, learning more about the business and the business side of it, as well as like the model side of it. And just like everything, I like it. I love it a lot. So
yes, and Nate, to speak on your personality, like even I feel like, dang, you're so beautiful. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's been so, how can I say it? Like, I haven't had a chance to really get to know your spirit, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I want to say, thank you for being transparent on confidence, because shoot, I got to be transparent since you were, like, oh man, and it's hard to talk about, but
it is.
My mom, had said some things to me when I was a little girl that shaped the way I viewed my beauty. It wasn't positive, and she didn't mean any harm by it. But that kind of like, I don't want to say hurt my self-esteem, but I never put beauty as a forefront. But then, you're walking and people are like, you should be a model. You should be a model. You should be a model. So when you get in that space of a model, it's almost kind of like you have to build your confidence in that space. Mm-hmm. So how did that transition work for you? And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I think it's important for young girls and women to know that, when you do get in the modeling industry, sometimes there's a lot of rejection, mm-hmm. and it's not based on you or how you look. It's just,
what the client wants.
It's what the client wants. So becoming a model, you have to grow in that confidence, and you have to know that you're beautiful just the way you are, so
And know yourself.
yeah. So what would you say to girls that may be struggling with confidence like we did? And then once you got into the modeling world, you built or you might have built your confidence before, but I also heard you said you're still kind of in that space. So what would you tell girls coming into the modeling industry, about rejection and so forth?
Yes. So I feel like in the modeling industry, the first thing that somebody told me is you are going to hear more no's than yeses. And there's a lot of people that may hear more yeses than no's, but there's a lot of times you're going to hear more no's than yeses. And you just need to know yourself and love yourself. And I feel like as women, we all have certain things that we may not love the most, but you still have to love it. I read Tyra Banks' book, and it was just like you either fix it or you flaunt it. And once I read those words, I said, okay, so it's my fupa that I'm not the happiest with, but hey, it's here. So I'm going to love her. Like, this is a part of me. So I'm going to show it to the world, because there's a girl out there and there's a woman out there that is looking at me and saying, wow, she did it. I can do it too. And I feel like too, growing up, there weren't a lot of women other than Monique. I remember just looking at Monique and watching the movie Fat Girls and just feeling like, so like, even though like I didn't really understand the movie in its entirety when I was younger, like now it's just seeing a bigger woman in a colored chocolate woman, living in this confidence and seeing who she was. And even though everybody from the outside looking in is like, I don't like the way she looks. She's too big. She's too this. You're going to be too something for somebody. Not everybody is not going to like the way you look. Like, people hated on Jesus. And that's my favorite thing. Like, people going to hate on you. And you just got to be like,
Jesus was like perfect. And somebody had something to say about him, right?
If you can say like, and that's okay. And if people are not saying anything, like, then I feel like maybe you just not putting yourself out there enough. Like, everybody's going to have something to say. And you have to just be like, oh, well, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You can't fight the world. So if you know yourself and you love yourself, of course, things may bother you and everything is not just going to roll off your back. But one thing that I did learn when I was younger is really just faking it till I made it. Like, if I don't feel like the most confident person in the room, you're going to feel like I'm the most confident person in the room. Because when I walk in, I'm going to have my head held high. When I walk in, I'm going to make sure that I look my best. I'm going to make sure that I feel my best. And I feel like when you wake up and if you're not feeling your best, you put on a little makeup or you put on a little lip gloss or play a little song that makes you feel good. Listen to some Lizzo. Like, she will have you feeling like your best self, or do something that just makes you feel pretty. Like, everybody has days where you just don't feel like Beyonce, but every day you have to know that you are the Beyonce. So, and I feel like too, it's like, there's room for everybody. There's enough room for us all to
okay
exist. Oh, we went on. Hold on. Let's try.
Hold on one second, Nate. Let me just check something real quick. Hold on one second.
Okay, cool. Oh, I can see myself twice. Ooh, this lip.
Nay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, the kids got on the Xbox or whatever the PlayStation.
And
It threw everything off whack. But let me see if it's still streaming. Okay. All right. So let me just make sure that everything is still good.
what's up? You're fine. I sound like Jadakiss. My voice. Like,
Right. I just saw the what is it?
the real or
no, the verses.
oh, versus.
With Jay, did you see that?
No, I seen clips of it. They funny.
Yeah, they was dissing Dipset the whole time on stage. Okay.
Like,
Yes. Okay. So you were given some gems. I'm hoping that everything is going to be smooth with this because I know we got the first half and then we had a couple of people watching too. So hopefully everything just runs smoothly. And just to make sure I have it, I'm going to do a second part two.